I did not think I would get emotional making this video because I kind of planned it a little bit in my head, but like, I guess I do get emotional about it. Hey everyone, I'm James, and normally my channel is about travel vlogs and interviews, and sometimes I share some of my stories, but today is the story, the most personal story that I can share. It's my coming out experience, but not only coming out, I actually got forced out as being gay. It is a story of self-acceptance, getting to understand who I am, having the courage to be who I am today. First, let's take it back to when I discovered that I was gay. I was about 5 or 6 years old, and I was in the playground at school and everyone was playing Kiss Chase and it was so much fun, except from my issue was I wanted to catch the boys, not the girls. Yes, this was a pretty big giveaway that I was definitely not straight. It was a small and confusing feeling. It planted that seed in my mind, which is where I guess over time I started to question who I was, my sexuality when I discovered what that was, and led me on the path to being gay. As I grew older, that curiosity turned into something more. I would look at guys, be super interested in what they were wearing, what their style was, how they walked, how they talked, and I really wanted to emulate that in myself, or I wanted to be with them. So throughout high school, this was a constant thought going through my head. I did have girlfriends all throughout high school as my attempt to fit in and be normal and not be part of the gay world, because of course that was super scary, especially when I was in high school growing up. It was really not a good thing to be gay. And there was a kid in my school who did come out and he got bullied no ends. I wasn't out, I had girlfriends, and I was still bullied for being gay because I had the best hair in the school. Yes, of course. But they just knew that I was more interested in the guys than the girls, I guess. Who knows? But back in that day, it was not cool. When we finally finished school, I kept in contact with a couple of friends, and one night he invited me out to a pool table bar. And I was like, sure, I'll go. I'll give it a go. Let's see how it goes being part of this world. I was an introvert. I played video games, so I didn't put myself out there very often. So I get to this pool table bar, and there's probably about 8 of us in total. And there's this one guy that went to a different school than me. He had so much confidence, so much of, I don't even know what the words are. And he like owned the room. There was something about him that I was like really interested in. So of course I was naturally gravitating towards him, wanting to be more confident because I was majorly insecure at school. I had no confidence. I had no ability to put myself in any situations. I just wanted to be at home playing my video games. So as the night goes on, me and him get talking, you know, we build up a little bit of a rapport. He's really interested in me and what I'm up to, what I'm into and everything. So that was really nice. And then we end up leaving. And of course I was sad. I didn't want the night to end. I'd found this guy that I was interested in. But he jumped in the same car as me to get a ride home because I couldn't drive at this point and neither could he. In the car, I sat in the front seat and he was behind me. And I had a jacket on and it had a seam across the back of it. And he started playing with the seam as he reached around the car and was playing with it. The seam. And I was like oddly really into this because it was something that I had never experienced before, like a guy touching me in like an intimate way. It was really interesting. The ride home was about 15 minutes. We got back to my place. I had to jump out the car. He was going back to his place. So I was sad. But he gave me his phone number. So of course, what's the first thing you do? Text. So I sent him a message. Hey, this is James. This is my number. Let me know if you want to hang out sometime. It was really great to meet you. All of that good stuff. You know how it is. And he texts back. And he really enjoyed meeting me too. He invited me over to his house for a sleepover on Friday. Now I know, you probably think you know where this story is going, but I don't think you do, so you should definitely stick around and listen to this. So the night comes when I'm gonna go and stay at his house, and I'm super excited, I'm super nervous, like, am I wearing the right thing? How do I behave? How do I react? Like, what do I do in this situation? I've never been in this situation before. Does he even want to do anything? Is he interested? Who knows? He opens the door and we sit down and we have dinner with his family because, you know, we're still young and that's just what we do. And after that, we go up to his bedroom. And as I walk into the bedroom, he has a single bed in the corner of the room with a TV opposite. On the floor is a bed made up. And I was a little bit disappointed, as you can imagine, because I wanted to cuddle with him, you know? So he gets on his bed and then he looks at me and asks if I want to watch a movie. And of course I'm stood there awkward. I don't really know where I'm meant to go. Yeah, sure, I'll watch a movie. And he says, okay, jump on the bed with me. That was it. I was like, oh my God. Like, it's a single bed, we're gonna be close, I'm excited. So I jump on the bed, sit next to him, and of course we turn the lights out, the movie starts. I think we watched The Sixth Sense now that I think about it. We were watching a horror movie, of course, right? Set the tone, set the mood. After about 10 minutes, his hand starts to wander onto my leg. He touches my thigh, and I was like, nervous, I didn't flinch. I was just like, okay, what do I do? Is this happening? Oh my god. We end up holding hands and it gets cute and the movie goes on, and of course Bruce Willis is doing his thing, and then he kisses me. What? This is crazy. This is my whole like moment, right? My first experience with a guy. He's just kissed me, nervous. Anyway, the plot thickens. We go on a little bit more, and as we're getting more into it, we obviously do some stuff. After that happens, he's like, okay, well, I'm going to bed now. I've got to be up tomorrow because I've got college or something. Do you want to jump down there in your bed and get some sleep? So I'm like, okay, like, this is weird. I thought I would get to cuddle you, right? We just had this experience, this exchange. This isn't very Hollywood. So I get onto the floor and I get into my bed and I lay there awake all night, pretty much thinking about what happened and how much I wanted to be up there with him. Of course, within 5 minutes, he's fallen asleep, completely dead to the world. It was a pretty long night, and I wake up in the morning and he's like, okay, I've got to go. I got to go to college. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm sat at home wondering about the night and everything and what this means. How will I ever exist if it never happens again? Like, oh my god, this was crazy. And I start getting text messages coming in from my friends. Why is my phone going crazy, first of all? Like, what is happening? He's gone to college and he's told everybody that I knew that last night he had done stuff with me. And that was crazy of an experience. Like, that was like so crazy. And he told everyone what we had done. He told everyone all about it. And I was absolutely distraught. Like distraught. I can't emphasize that. And it was like the most soul-crushing experience that I have ever experienced in my life, because not only was the guy that I was really into, and being the insecure me was like thinking about dating him and how it would evolve into something maybe. I had just been forced out as being gay to all my friends, and of course my messages and my responses were, no, like, yeah, but I'm bisexual, I'm not gay. Like, gay has such a negative connotation with it that I didn't want to identify as that. Like, I wanted to identify as bisexual because then there's that chance. Nobody believed that, of course, because I was obviously gay. That was that, and he kind of forced me out to everybody that I knew. And it was really, really difficult. I think that was like the most painful thing that I had ever been through emotionally in my life. Of course, I fell into a large depression after that. I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to talk to anyone. Me and my mum ended up going to town, and he walked past. And when he walked past, of course, my heart, oh my god, my heart sank so much. And I still wanted to date him. Like, what? Crazy, I know, but there was something about him, and I whispered under my breath, there's the guy that told all my friends that I'm gay. My mum heard and said, what? And I burst out in tears in the middle of town, and there was people everywhere, and I just lost it. Completely lost it. She was like, I think we need to have a conversation when we get home. And I was like, oh no, what have I done? So we get home, we sit down and we start talking about it, and I'm a wreck, absolute wreck, crying my eyes out. And she's like, I know that you're gay. Like, I've known since you were like tiny. You used to wear my heels, you used to do my makeup, you used to paint my nails. Like, you were definitely going to be gay when you're older. She accepted that and about me, and she, you know, supported that. It was so scary coming out. Coming out is like the scariest experience ever. Like, I can't even begin to express how intense it is to come out. It is so crazy. You know, reflecting back on it now, coming out was so difficult, but it wasn't that act of coming out that was so hard. It was the act of accepting who I was. The fact that I like guys and I am male. The fact that 30 years prior to that, it was illegal to be gay. It was the fact that there was so many stigmas about being gay, and I did not want to be that. I didn't want that to be my label. I didn't want to be identified as gay, because with that came all of these stereotypes that were now my identity. I think that was probably the hardest part of it all, was that identity of being gay was this, and this, but it wasn't really what I felt I was, and that is ultimately, I think, what was so difficult about it. And it was really hard to accept myself for that, and I still struggle with it to this day. I mean, I came out, 20 years ago? Oh my god, 20 years ago. I came out 20 years ago, and I still really struggle with it. And it gets easier, of course. Like, yeah, I found out that I have a great community of queer people that accept me for who I am and don't judge me. I have the support of my mum and my family and my brothers and everybody around me. Like, they support me, of course. And I know that's not the case for some people, which sucks. Absolutely sucks. You just have to make your own family, your friends. I know that it's super difficult at the start. The only way to really be who you are and be authentic to yourself is to be able to accept yourself for who you are, to live your truth, to be able to love yourself. And when you start to love yourself, and I think I'm starting to a little bit more now, because of you guys sending me comments and messages and supporting me, which is amazing, and showing me that I am worth something, because I never knew I was worth something. Like, the support that I get from you guys, like, is crazy. I did not think I would get emotional making this video, because I kind of planned it a little bit in my head, but like, I guess I do get emotional about it, because I realize that people do support me and love me and accept me for being gay. Your comments, your messages and everything like that, I do see them, I see them all, and I really appreciate them, and they outweigh the negatives so much, and I really appreciate that. Like, you have no idea how much I appreciate those messages that you send me and support that you guys send, and I send it all back to you, you know, like, live your truth, live who you are, and the world will become a brighter place when we start to accept ourselves. At least I hope so. It was really dark for a long time. So I want to leave you with this thought, and don't wait until you're on your deathbed to be your authentic self. Accept yourself now. You don't have to come out, but just accept that's who you are. It's not a choice. You have a whole community out here for you. Everyone in this community, despite what we see about twinks and bears and separation, that's not really how it is. I felt that way for a long time, but everybody embraces you and loves you. So don't be afraid to be who you are. Live your truth. And I send my support out to you guys as well. Leave me a comment. Of course, I'm always here replying as I can, and I will see you guys soon. Have a great night.